The very next morning I made my way to the theatre. I gained entry to the cellars and made my way down, 5 stories below the level of the Rue Scribe, to the shores of the lake. And there I waited. I knew that Eric regularly went out during the day, although what business he had I do not know. My perseverance was rewarded after about an hour and a half when suddenly I saw a flicker of a lantern on the far shore, and I dived into cover. As the ripples on the lake grew closer, I saw Eric's eyes glinting in the darkness like stars as the boat drew nearer. Even now those eyes have the power to send a shudder through me. I have never seen such eyes. From my hiding place I watched him pass and head off up the tunnel towards the Rue Scribe. I waited until the flicker of his lantern had vanished, and quickly as I could I clambered into the boat and made my way across the water. I am not a great lover of boats, but I had to get over to speak to Miss Daae and get her away from the fiend. As I drew close to the far shore, I called out, "Mademoiselle Daae! Mademoiselle!" There was no reply. Perhaps Miss Giry had been wrong. Perhaps she was not here after all. I called out again, "Miss Daae! Miss Daae!" And then I saw her. Her figure appeared at the door of Eric's mysterious residence. I clambered from the boat and hurried towards her. "Mademoiselle, I have come to rescue you," I said. "Quickly, clamber into the boat and we will make good our escape before Eric returns." And she refused. She told me that Eric had promised to release her in 5 days. And then she offered me tea. Why not? I must admit I was curious. I had often tried to gain entry to Eric's residence without success. As I went inside, I was astonished to discover that his home was as fashionable and well furnished as any of the great residences one would find in the fashionable areas of Paris. And as I stood there in his drawing room, 5 stories below the level of the ground, my mind was astonished, and I had to remind myself exactly where I was. As Miss Daae busied herself preparing the tea, I took a moment to look around the house. There was a huge black marble mantelpiece, upon which sat 2 ebony caskets. One contained a brass scorpion, and the other a brass grasshopper, both wrought with the most intricate craftsmanship. What the nature of these mysterious things were, I have no idea, for my curiosity was interrupted when Miss Daae returned. Once more, my senses were baffled with the curious tea service that she brought with her. The teapot itself was shaped like some curious bird, which, upon later investigations, I have discovered is resident to the British Isles. How Eric came across this, I discovered, was that it had been carried by a group of English explorers who had come to Paris to investigate the opera cellars. He had frightened them away, of course, and they had left behind all their belongings. He had took the teapot as a memento of his ghostly activities. Ah, yes. Eric remains true to form. I once more urged Miss Daae to come with me, but she refused. She told me that she could not possibly betray Eric in such a fashion, and that she believed his word. He would release her in 5 days. For a moment I thought of removing her by force, but that would make me no better than he. Suddenly, there was the ringing of an electric bell somewhere deep inside Eric's home, at the sound of which Miss Daae became incredibly agitated. She told me that the bell was the alarm that Eric used to inform him when people had entered the underground. She knew that this was signifying that the Eric was returning. With great haste, I made my way back to the boat and paddled as quickly as I could to the far shore. I had literally clambered from the boat and ducked into cover when the glitter of his lantern appeared in the tunnel from the Rue Scribe. He passed me in the darkness and crossed the lake. I cannot deny my heart was beating in my chest in that moment. A curious situation. Miss Daae was apparently devoted to Eric, but for what reason, I do not know. Very curious. My investigations continue, and I will discover the nature of Eric's relationship with Miss Daae. Even if I have to return with the young Vicomte and rescue her, I will do what I must do